Good morning. And welcome in the warm and loving spirit of Unity of Santa Barbara. We're so happy to see you this morning. You know, you are here by divine invitation. So those of you in the sanctuary and out in our beautiful courtyard, and all of you online, thank you for saying yes to that divine invitation this morning. So we light the candle to remember that we are the light of the world. And so let's say that together. I am the light of the world. Together, I am the light of the world. Let that sink in. I am the light of the world. And then we sound a tone to set up a vibration for the time that we're spending together this morning. Okay, well, our daily word this morning is connection. And the affirmation is, I honor my connection with all people, and especially people that we haven't seen for a while. No matter how great the distance that exists between me and the people I care about, I know we are connected by our love for one another. Today, I reestablish and strengthen this connection by reaching out, even if it's only to let someone know that I'm thinking of them. Our connection is also kept strong through prayer. As I pray for those I care about, I bless them by holding my highest vision for their lives, seeing them as healthy, prosperous, happy, and fulfilled. Whether we're in frequent contact or have fallen out of touch, my connection with my loved ones remains strong because we are one with God, one in love. And from Scripture, for in the one Spirit we were all baptized into one body, Jews or Greeks, slaves or free, and we were all made to drink of one Spirit. And that is from 1 Corinthians 12:13. I honor my connection with all people. So as I was reflecting on this, that last sentence really spoke to me, called to me. We are one in God and one in love. That is one of the most important of Unity's teachings, is that we are one with each other and one with God. We are connected with each other all the time, not some of the time, but all of the time. We have that spiritual connection. We are in the flow of the abundance, the connection abundance, all of the time, even when we think that we're not. Especially this last year, right? It's been a very challenging year. We keep talking about that as if it's over, but we're still being challenged with things. And we've experienced disagreements. We've experienced that feeling of disconnectedness from other people, whether it's our families or certain groups, feeling disconnected from one another. We have all felt that sense of distress. And yet, the distress isn't real. It exists really in our ego mind, that place where we make up stories and react to the drama of what's going on in the world. But in the spiritual realm, we have never lost our connection with each other. And so for those people, what's really brilliant about that thought is that we can reach out to people in ways through the spiritual realm that maybe we haven't thought about. People that challenge us, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, whether it's a former friend or a former lover or someone we have difficulty at work with, we can reach out to those people and send them a blessing. It's so easy. It's very, very powerful. It's a powerful way to stay connected. It's a powerful way to stay in the flow of abundance in that connectedness. So we bring someone to mind. We bring them to mind, and then we say, I send you healing. I send you peace. I send you love. I send you healing. I send you peace. I send you love. That's it. And then we release them. And as we have blessed them, we are blessed ourselves. And we are all then in the flow of connectedness and love and peace. And so I say to each one of you this morning, I send you healing. I send you peace. And I send you love. And so it is.
Me and all my friends, we're all misunderstood. They say we stand for nothing and there's no way we ever could. Now we see everything that's going wrong with the world and those who lead it. We just feel like we don't have the means to rise above and beat it. So we keep waiting, waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting, waiting on the world to change. It's hard to beat the system, but we're standing at a distance. So we keep waiting, waiting, waiting on the world to change. Now if we had the power to bring our neighbors home from war, they would have never missed a Christmas. No more ribbons on their door. And when you trust your television, what you get is what you got. 'Cause we own the information, or they can bend it all they want. So we keep waiting, waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting, waiting on the world to change. It's not that we don't care, we just know that the fight ain't fair. So we keep waiting, waiting, waiting on the world to change. Still waiting, waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting, waiting on the world to change. One day our generation is gonna rule the population. So we keep waiting, waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting, waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change.
Wowee, thank you. Gosh, it's so much fun. I tell you, tickling those ivories and Randy and Renee and Woody, oh my gosh, and my friend from Fort Lauderdale, it's crazy. Natalie Nash, yes. So we are in our second week of a series called Keys to the Kingdom. Why do we need a key? What are keys about? What do keys do? Open stuff, yeah? Yeah, what else do they do? They unlock things. They turn on things. They ignite things. And what happens when you lose your keys? Yeah, you ask your dog, what did they do with your keys? Yes, so when we lose our keys, we can feel stuck. We can feel like we can't go places. We can feel that we're not able to turn on the inspiration of our lives. So we're in a series, it's really a Lenten series, and Lent is not something you find on your coat. Lent is something, a period where we're in preparation for this period that is Easter. So we're really in a time of contemplation. It's really represented by the wilderness, the 40 days and 40 nights of Jesus' life, where he wandered without food, without water, and everything he needed showed up. And so this is our opportunity. This isn't a time to sort of figure things out. It's a time to really be with these teachings, the spiritual law, and to recognize how much you're living in your divine inheritance or not. And so we're here to really be more of a contemplative yet joyous state. So thank you for this wonderful music. Music enlivens something. You know, music, if you want to, where's the kingdom of God? What's going on? You feel how you feel when you're listening to music, when you're inspired. That's the kingdom of God. And there's no limit to it, right? There's no like, oh, I'm going to kind of cut off this joy. I'm getting too excited here. It's like, wow, we let it happen. So the second key, hold the vision. Now, I asked Natalie to sing this song, and Woody and Randy and Renee put it together so beautifully, because I find this culture, and myself included, we sort of wait for the world to change before we do anything. You know, and I give you the example, you know, when you're a teenager, you can't wait to drive your car. You can't wait to get older. And then as you get older, oh, I remember my youth. I can't wait to somehow, find some fountain of youth. And a lot of people wait to have children, can't wait to have children. And then I can't wait for those children to leave the house. It'd be nice for those children to get their life. They're 30 and they're still in their room. What's going on here? You know, we can't wait to find the relationship. And then we find the relationship, we can't wait for that person to change a little bit, right? More like, I want you to be. How am I going to stay in this relationship if you're not able to do what I want you to do? So we live a lot of life waiting for something to happen. And I'd like you to be with this today when we're holding a vision. Let's turn wait into great. Is that okay? If you're willing to sort of consider that actually your vision is creating your life, if you're willing to be in touch with that divine intelligence and divine flow, say to yourself, or you can say it quietly, put your hand on your heart, in fact, and say, I'm in. Are you in? I'm in, right? And I'd like you just to look at a neighbor and say, I'm in. I'm in, yeah? Because I'll tell you who needs to be motivated by this message? You. And I'm in. Yeah, I'm in. Yes. So this is our opportunity. We're often looking for something to change outside of us, and then, of course, Gandhi and our masters all said, be the change you want to see in the world. It's like, really? Because I thought it would be a lot easier if someone just came around and fixed me or entertained me, that would be a lot better. But not really. You know, we recognize that what we're finding in ourselves, and you can see when anyone's doing something they love, singing, playing an instrument, your spiritual reflection this morning was beautiful, Russ, and I can tell it's something that he's reflected on. And he wasn't up here going, oh, I got to do the spiritual reflection. You know, I was like, oh, yeah, this is what this means to me, connectedness. So we're not waiting for the world to change, or we'll give ourselves a break from that, and we are looking at holding a vision. You know, these keys to the kingdom, this idea of looking for this kingdom that is within us or allowing it to happen, we can tend to look for it outside of ourselves, and we can tend to think that life is something that's happening to us rather than through us. But I love the analogy of you've got a garden hose, and you're standing on the garden hose, and you're looking over here saying, where's the water? And you wonder, it sounds so crazy, right? But that's how we live. We live in a way of the flow is coming in, and because of our thoughts about it, because of often our past and our stories, we're not letting it flow. It's like standing in the ocean. I'm not going to stand still. I'm not going to be moved. And the ocean is trying to allow you to flow. And you know how it is when you let go and you float. It's a beautiful thing. So we're practicing unlocking this consciousness. And so we've got the garden hose story. I think that's a great one to visualize when you're thinking about living in abundance. And then I have some quotes from some very wise people, and Helen Keller is one of them. Now, Helen Keller, we can say, went way beyond her limitations, yes, because many of us focus a lot on our limitations, but we know our teachers, our spiritual teachers, have always gone beyond their limitations. And Helen Keller actually said, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. Mm-hmm. You know, what an amazing thing for this woman that had, I would think, when we think of all the limitations she had physically, but spiritually, not at all. And we know that that is within her is within all of us. And what's interesting is when we're perhaps more able-bodied than Helen Keller, we can get lazy. You know, we can get like, and it's actually the things that feel like limitations as you have this key to unlock a greater consciousness. The limitations you can see were the catalyst for that insight. And so if you're feeling like, yeah, this limitation, I've got this challenge, just know that it is really the catalyst for you to overcome. And this will be part of what we're working with today. All right, Michael Beckwith, Dr. Michael Beckwith, let's see if I can say his name correctly. Many of you have been exposed to him, and he is part of the New Thought community. He started a wonderful center called Agape, right, here in California. It was one of those places I walked into many, many years ago, and it was a warehouse. I remember when I found it, I thought, what is this, right? It looks like a place where they're, storing wheat or something. And I walked in, and it was, you talk about alive, right? They had this huge choir and people just everywhere. And it was really the energy that was happening there. But I'll tell you, before anything, it was Michael Beckwith's vision. And it was then the vision that caught fire with so many people, and then it became, of course, a community creating that vision. And that's exactly what's happening here at Unity of Santa Barbara, and it's been going on for a long time. So Michael Beckwith is a very learned gentleman in his insights, and one wonderful quote that he has said many times, and I want to show you a little video of him saying this quote, but basically the quote is, pain pushes until vision pulls. Pain pushes until vision pulls. And we know that many of us are very familiar with pain pushing. Yeah, it's like, I wonder, I love interviewing people, but I always want to ask people, how have you made any changes in your life? And most people have made changes because something became painful. Something became uncomfortable. When we feel good, it's like, I don't want to change anything. But it's when we come up against a belief or something that feels limiting that we want to go, wait, there's unlimited consciousness in me. Why am I agreeing with being limited in at least my imagination? So I'd like you to, so as Michael kept, recognizing that he was letting his vision pull him, then his pain push him, he ended up writing a book. He's been on Oprah. He started this incredible community that's still ongoing. So I want to show you a clip of Michael Beckwith and Oprah, pain pushing until vision pulls.
That's one of my favorite statements is pain pushes until the vision pulls. So life is progressive.
You're good. You're good. You are a tweet a minute.
The universe is progressive.
Yeah.
And it's pushing you.
Yeah.
Until you get pulled by a larger vision. So once you have a vision that you can articulate.
Okay, so pain pushes you, so it's hard, it's harder, and it's trying to force you into having a vision
Yes.
that's bigger than the pain.
And that's a principle. Potential is always bigger than the problem. Potential is always bigger than the problem. Your potential is infinite and is always bigger than whatever problem you're going through. So when you begin to have a vision,
Oh, this is good. I'm going to shout in a minute. This is good. This is really good. Amen. Good.
you begin to have a vision about the possibility. You start to be pulled by it. And then once you really sincerely embrace it,
Yeah.
and your life begins to be, okay, when I wake up this morning, I'm going to walk in the direction of my purpose. I'm going to walk in the direction of my vision.
I'm going to walk in the direction of that possibility and the potential.
Yes.
Instead of allowing myself to go, oh, woe is me, or I can't believe, or
Right.
I'm going to walk in the.
Right.
This is a good talk.
Then you're not pushed.
You can preach it. You can preach this. This will preach.
Oprah told me to preach this.
You should preach this. So you walk in the direction of the potential and the possibility instead of being stuck here.
Then you're not as pushed as much. The cosmic
Yeah.
2x4 doesn't need to hit you as much.
Wow.
You're pulled. You're being pulled more by joy, and it's like, I'm being pulled by something. Now, it doesn't mean you're not going to have challenges.
Of course. Of course.
We're not praying to live a challenge-free life. We're praying that the challenges that come activate latent potential.
Yes, isn't that great? Yes, I love it, love it, love it. I love Oprah's job. That's so good. That's so good. That'll preach. Yeah. And why do you think Oprah's getting excited? Because it's her experience, right? This is the thing when I love how he starts with life is progressive. Life is moving. Life is happening. I always say the beginning of this talk will never come again. And if I didn't like it, I'm like, good. But the idea that life is progressive and that, potential is bigger than problems. And I love the idea that any challenge activates latent potential. Now, I think many of you know I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I have 36 years of sobriety. But I will tell you, I would have loved it when I was being arrested for drinking and driving to look at the officers and say, this is activating my latent potential. Yes, I'm so excited about this getting arrested thing. Yes, so we laugh, but we recognize the challenges we have, and we have them. I love that he put this in, because as we're creating a vision, we'll often think about, I don't want to get uncomfortable. I don't want to have any pain. And then we recognize, oh yeah, that's part of the growing. When I have a vision about, and let's say it's about a healthy relationship, or let's say it's about work that you love, or let's say it's about a life that feels purposeful, service work that you want to get involved with, there's going to be a period of, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how that's going to happen. And that's one of my other favorite lines about prosperity. The how is none of my business. The how is none of my business. Let's say that together. The how is none of my business, yes? Because this, I remember Natalie, when I was leaving for Chicago, where do I live? When I was leaving for California. I'm not going to cold anymore, Heidi, remember that. Okay, so I was coming to California, and Natalie was one of the last services I did in Fort Lauderdale, and I looked at her, I said, I'm gonna get you to come to Santa Barbara and sing for us someday. And she's like, yeah. And before I know it, I'm in touch with her, and she's saying, I'm moving to LA. And I went, you are? Yeah, okay. And then you've been here once, but Natalie and I created this, didn't we? In our minds, because I had a vision of her being here and singing, and I just adore her and her commitment to her life of music and ministry, and we did it. Yeah, yes, right? But this is how, yay, let's give her a yes. And I love Natalie. I'm so glad you're here. Because we want to celebrate. This is the other thing that's important when you're holding a vision. You've created so many things in your life. You have touched so many people, and you've had, who knows, children and relationships and teachings and art. And, I know when I'm talking to Ann, sometimes I see a piece of art behind her on Zoom, and I'm like, who painted that? And she's like, oh, I painted that. I'm like, are you kidding? And it's beautiful to see the talents people have that you don't talk. Every time I see Ann, I say, do you know the paintings I've painted? They're in my house and they're amazing. She doesn't say that much. But the point is, we've done so many things that we don't let ourselves, get excited about. And that's a big part of holding that vision, of seeing what you've already created. So We see that vision is something that's not so much a, some kind of mystical, magical thing as much as your own love being manifest as it's coming forward. So clearly everyone here loves Unity of Santa Barbara. So one of the things we're all responsible for as a community is holding the vision of this place however it feels good to you. I'm so glad to see people in the sanctuary. We have an online audience now that we'll have forever, right? I mean, I know I went back to Florida last week and people are like, I watch you every Sunday. I'm like, yay, yeah. And it's so exciting because before COVID, we didn't have this major online audience. So thank you. Don't get too comfortable in your pajamas because we want you to come back, right? If you're here in town. But the idea is that this has shifted, and so our vision is that keeps growing. Our vision is that we use our beautiful courtyard and this space for many, many things. There's renters coming back. There's people that want to have a school here, perhaps rent the space, and a children's theater that got in touch with us. And I can tell you that has a lot to do with, I keep thinking about the aliveness and the vibrancy of this place, and you all have already known it. So it's beautiful to just hold the vision of this place. And then your own life. What is it? How is it that you can really see your life the way you want to see it? So one of the trickiest questions for us on the spiritual path and in life is, what do you want? What do you want? People may say, I want a big bank account. Okay, but what do you want to do with the money in that bank account? What experiences do you want to have? And that's the thing, is money can't give you a hug. Money can't, talk to you. Money can't, give you affirmations. On the back it does say, in God I trust, or we trust. But the deal is that it's something around what it is that you want to experience. So one of the commitment we're making for this 7 weeks is to give back from where you've received. And so you're committing to give time to your meditation, to your spiritual time with yourself. And that can be a time of gardening. It can be walking the dog. It can be meditation. But it's got to be time with you. I spent some time meditating yesterday, and I got an idea that I hadn't thought of before. Right? It's fascinating. We run around thinking we're going to figure things out, but we need to stop. Be still and know God. Be still and know that I am God. And then we're tithing our talent. Kathleen, God bless her, picked me up from LAX, yesterday, or when was it? A couple days ago. And she's telling me about all the ways she's involved with the community, Meals on Wheels, and I know this is a community of so much giving of time. But I rarely see her grumpy. I mean, maybe we don't live together or anything, but the point is that when you give your time, it forces this joy in you because you realize, I'm here to serve. When you show up to volunteer, most people in our lives have shown up for a paycheck and, when we're working. But to show up and recognize your value has nothing to do with a paycheck. The value of you just showing up. And thank you to all the volunteers today and the joy of just being part of this community. And when you leave, you're always going to feel better. So tithing your time. And then we're talking about tithing our resources and our finances and staying in the flow. And this is where you've already received. So we're giving back to places where we're spiritually fed. And I would hope that one of those places is Unity of Santa Barbara. But I give to retreat centers and places all over that have really touched my life. So it's all about staying in the flow. So these are the ideas. First of all, a vision. A vision, the definition is it transcends present circumstances and known limitations. So any vision that you have, clearly you had a vision of health. Lucky, I'm so glad you're here. Looking at everybody, is looking so healthy, yeah, and prayers. But see, people can send you prayers, and if you don't see it for yourself, it's really tricky, right? So you had to see yourself as healthy, and God bless you, and all of you all here. It's so beautiful. And I love people that show up. I got vaccinated. I'm like, see, do you see what really happened is your attitude shifted, your perception shifted, your vision of health shifted. And when somebody said that to me today, I said, we're all vaccinated by spirit. Yay! And soon we'll have the other one. But it's mainly that sense of of good feeling about your health. So these are the areas of vision, and this is your opportunity this week to really write in these areas. If you are in our class on Wednesday night, and you can join it this week, and then it is closed, but the workbook is Keys to the Kingdom, and you can purchase this workbook. It is actually the man, I have been teaching this class and living this class for maybe 20 some odd years, and the same guy's there, and I have to laugh because he sends me these materials. I'm like, Jeff, do you remember when I was getting these in Hawaii from the P.O. box? He's like, yes, we're old, don't talk about it. But the idea is you can get this book. But in the book, it talks about these 5 areas, and the 5 areas are health, finances, relationships, career and self-expression, spirit and personal growth, spiritual and personal growth. So these are your 5 areas that you look at. And health doesn't mean, I know when I was younger, it might have been fitness or, quickness or something along those lines. And today, my health is around flexibility and ease and strength and flow. But it's a different kind of thing around health. It might even be that you're interested in finding alternative health practices. So health and finances is the idea of being in the flow, of seeing how generous do I feel, or do I feel like I hoard in my life, right? And how is it the flow happening? And mainly the question is, where have I received? Think about where you've received in your life. Your job or whatever, wherever that income comes in, is one of many channels of good. And as you open to it, that's where those checks arrive, or someone takes you out to lunch, or I went to Florida, last week, and someone rented a yacht to go down the Intercoastal. And he said, that's really what I want to give you on your trip here. I'm like, what? I mean, it was a little hard to receive, but I was like, okay, I'm going to receive, right? And that's how we do, is we let it happen. Relationships. How is it we want to be more engaging? We want to be allowing communication to be connection, as we talked about. Career and self-expression. So you may be retired, but the idea is you haven't retired from you haven't retired from spirit. And spirit and personal growth. How is it that we can continue to do have our meditation time, but also maybe get into something that's different when it comes to your spiritual growth? So you can see that what happens with vision is it's never anything actually you are currently knowing how it's working. The how is none of my business. Let's say that again. The how is none of my business. So your opportunity is to let the vision, the idea, the inspiration really come through you. I have a good friend that reminds me a lot of Woody in Chicago, and he's a pianist. And he has been really affected by COVID, and really Unity of Chicago pretty much shut down. And he's home, and he practices hours every day playing the piano. He's very happy. He isn't doing much. He's home. And it was so interesting to me that he's not practicing to perform. I would think, you want to practice to, look how good I am. Oh. But the point is, that's not what he's doing at all. He's practicing because he loves playing the piano. Yeah, right? And so that's the vision, is the inspiration, is what it is that you do that you love. Many of us, we take so many things for granted. I'm driving here and I'm thinking of Henry Ford, who said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Right? And I'm driving a car, do we think, who put this together? Who had that vision? Flying, the Wright brothers, the dynamics of flying were already in place. We saw the birds, we saw the butterflies, so it was in place, but it took the Wright brothers having the vision of something that could move people around. Yeah, and we get on planes, or we used to. You will again, and the idea is that's the importance. It may not even be the thing, of course, that changes the world, because it's not about that, but it will change the world by you being inspired. Proverbs says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." Okay, and what is meant by that? Boy, that's a sad slide, Penny. Wow. So, all right, so who wants to look like that, right? So the point is that people perish because your inspiration is what wakes you up in the morning. Right, so the vision, this vision, it's a big word, vision. I'd really like to call it more inspiration, that you're putting things, some people make boards that they put in their house, with pictures of what feels like health or financial well-being or relationship well-being. And so we put pictures, you write affirmations, you draw things, you put objects in your home that remind you of this. So when the world can tend to take, the news or something that is, so much focused on the challenges of life, you can go, oh no, I am releasing what is a latent potential. Yes, that's what my vision is about. That's what my vision is about. So we can recognize, as Helen Keller said, that it's not about not having limitations. It's about the ability to recognize they are creating latent potential. And all of you have created something amazing in your life. And the point is, if you're breathing, you're still creating. So I'd like for us to affirm some truth, because the Fillmores, our co-founders, it all started with Myrtle that wanted to affirm, had a vision of her health. And she went to a lecture where she heard, I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. And her family had been talking about inheriting sickness all along, and she got, that's a new idea. I feel better just listening to that. We might have felt better listening to Michael Beckwith. We might have felt better listening to music, that is in all of us. So how is it that we can stay in that place of something different happening? And because of Myrtle staying, she went home and she committed to the time with that. Her healing inspired her husband, Charles, and we're all here because of that affirmation. Pretty amazing to think about this. So I'd like you just to, it's going to be on the screens, but just put your hand on your heart. It's our large organ there that is just pumping away with creativity. And I'm going to say the affirmation once. It's one of many that are in our book, but you will be writing your affirmations as you're writing your vision. So I'll say one and let's say it together. I am willing and ready to live my best life ever. Say it together. I am willing and ready to live my best life ever. I pay attention, together, I pay attention to those things that feel alive, and inspirational in my life. Inspirational in my life. You all have good vision here. Okay, we can say this together. Well, let's just do it together, okay. I imagine my life as a life of fulfillment and joy. And the last one, I am transformed at depth right now as I affirm my magnificence and claim my divine inheritance. And let's breathe into that idea, yeah? Because there's something that shifts when we say the truth, when we talk about being willing to see the next experience, to feel it. Martin Luther King said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, you just take the first step. So what if you're willing to play? Let's just move into this time of meditating. You can put your hand down or you can keep your hand there, but the idea would be to keep this heart open. We tune in to the inspiration of Helen Keller, of Michael Beckwith, of Jesus Christ, of Martin Luther King Jr., of Russ Chafin this morning, of all people that inspire you, and maybe even most importantly, the ones that you're learning forgiveness. That you're learning that it is the way I see something that creates it. And yes, it takes energy and it takes willingness. But what else is my life about than to know the truth that sets me free? So I reflect on these areas of my incredible life, of the health of my body temple, of the flow of one of many, many channels of good, of finances in my life. I see my life as a life of generosity, of ease, of feeling a sense of, not of lack of anything, but in fact of lusciousness and lavishness. When I think of all the colors of green in the trees and the colors of blue in the ocean. I think of relationships. I hold the love that is what I give and what I bring, and I know it touches the hearts of others. My self-expression. How do I engage my talents, the things that are my natural gifts in the world, and allows them to be even more joyful inside of me? And then my spiritual connectedness, knowing I am one with all that is. I learn that and I grow, and every day I stretch a little bit more to see this incredible world that's been given to me, and I've been given to it. So holding these affirmations in your heart, I accept my own beauty, and I see it reflected in the world around me. I accept my own power, and I use it wisely. I accept my own worth, and I live abundantly. I accept my own love, and I share it freely. I accept my own potential, and I live it fully. I deserve to feel good about myself and my life. And so in this fertile ground in which we are planting the seeds of our vision, we just sit in the silence, knowing that everything we want in our life is latent potential inside of us. Be still and know that I am God. We turn wait into great. We don't wait for life to bless us because we are the blessing. And then we see the natural flow of being blessed by life. We are committed as individuals and as this extraordinary community of Unity of Santa Barbara to leave the world better than we found it. And we do that by letting our light shine, by holding the vision of what brings our heart joy, and watching how the universe plots for our good, and our minds expand, our hearts enliven, and we start to see this global family as our family. We start to feel the oneness, and we start to feel safe and secure to try anything that's on our heart. So thank you, Spirit. It takes every single one of us to show up. We teach each other, we are students, we are teachers, and it is all perfect. It is divine order. And we are not to perish. We are to have this a beautiful vision. We don't wait for the breath, we breathe. We don't wait for the vision, we love. Thank you, Spirit, for this community and the freedom of being who we are. And so it is. Amen. So thank you, everyone, for being willing to experience yourself a little bit more, maybe laugh a little more, and it can bring up all kinds of feelings, the tears of becoming healthy after you've felt unwell, or loving even when you've been hurt. It's an extraordinary experience. And we're having another opportunity to stretch, and that is to allow abundance to be your natural state of living. I'd like you just to repeat that. Abundance is my natural state of living. Can we say that together? Abundance is my natural state of living. And it is true. And so we, as a community, we know Unity of Santa Barbara is abundant. And so we give from that place. We give from the place of generosity. We also give from the place of knowing that you want to be in the flow. You want to be able to have the surprises of someone, I'm going to rent a yacht for you. It's like, okay, I'll let you do that. And so the way that this place continues to thrive is by your generosity. And so we are giving from that place of flow. So we are going to, there's a number of ways to do this. You can, if you're on Facebook, you can hit the donate button. If you're online, you can make your screen smaller and you can click donate there. If you're here, you can certainly give. We're going to have our ushers come around with the little holy butterfly nets. If you're giving here, you can do that. There's also boxes. You can come by, you can write a check, you can mail a check. It's just the ability to know that there is something so much bigger in you than any kind of problem or lack. So I'd like you to hold one of the many joy channels of good in your life. You can put your hands together, because many of you give in all kinds of other ways during the week. But let's say this together, and I'd like you to really feel this one of, as I say, many, many, many channels that come into your life, that you are divine love. So let us say this together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I share. And so it is, yes. And so our ushers will come forward. And we are so, I wanted to show you all this during our offering time. And it's a song called Oh Happy Day. Is this correct? And Natalie put this together and sent it to me. And I can tell you, this was a vision, because Natalie is actually harmonizing with herself. So I'd like you to watch this video and enjoy it. I certainly did. Here we go.
Oh, happy day. It's a good morning. It's a good day. Put on a smile and make it worthwhile. It's a good morning. It's a good day. The past is gone. The future's yet to come. It's time to live in the now. What you've done, no matter where you've been. It's a good morning, it's a good day. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy it's a good morning, it's a good day. Put on a smile and make it worthwhile. It's a good morning, it's a good day.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? Thank you.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Oh, yes, I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Great. So one of my visions is a dance party right out there with the DJ. What do you guys, are y'all good for that? Yes. We'll have our DJ. We'll be socially distanced because, we can't hold you guys back. Come on. Anyway, I'm telling you, I need more thoughts and more visions, but that's mine for sure. One of the many. So you all are welcome to join our class, Keys to the Kingdom, on Wednesday nights at 7 on Zoom. It's, we have about 20 plus right now, and we'd love you just to be in the conversation. The more, the merrier, and if you would like to do that, all you need to do is get the workbook, the audio file. I'm still, that audio file thing, as life goes marching forward, I had cassettes, then CDs, and now we have this audio file that we stick in the computer, and I was like, how do you do this? But it works. So audio file, Keys to the Kingdom if you want to be part of the class. If not, you can get the materials and you can work it through with someone else, and you're going to be in this flow, in this experience. All right. The next thing, next Sunday is our annual meeting, and it's a wonderful, wonderful meeting. It's our annual time once a year to get together and talk about the past year and the year going forward. And the theme is planting seeds, growing love, all right? And so if you're coming, if you are not going to be here next Sunday, we're going to have it here in the sanctuary, but we'll also have it on Zoom. I'm giving everyone as a metaphor and as an example, and this is my tithe, because it's so fun, right? It's seeds. And as you're planting seeds, you're going to be thinking about the vision of your life and of Unity of Santa Barbara. And the seeds are be the change you want to see in the world. To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. All things grow with love and cultivate a brighter future. So if you're not going to be here, and we'd love for you to take a packet home with you. And if you are going to be here, you just need to wait till next week to get your packet of seeds. All right? But it's going to be 11:30. There's going to be a number of people sharing. It's going to really be interesting. We're going to have the AV team talk to us, and Russ will be talking to us about Unity Singers. We're going to thank a lot of people that have been part of Unity for a long time here, and we're also going to have budget, bylaws, and board. Right? And somebody said booze, but I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. You're home. And blessings, let's say. You can see I haven't gotten too far away from the old booze. No, joking. Anyway, so that's great, and it'll really be wonderful to be part of it. And I'd invite you to pray up prior to the annual meeting. We really need your consciousness, and that's how we do this thing. So thanks for being part of that. I really want to thank one of the visions we had, our virtual service, we had, challenges over time with the cameras and the sound. And if you haven't noticed, there's a new booth that's coming together. This is all the vision of all of us, right? We wanted cameras. We want a booth for these AV folks have been running all over the place. And we can thank Penny and Sven and Gary. Let's give them a hand because they're doing great things. But the generosity of one of our donors bought the cameras, the booth, all these wires and speakers and things I don't even know about, $14,000. So can we have a big thank you, right? And the ability, but who manifested that, right? It was the vision. It was the excitement. It was how this, every church is carrying on. It's through our audiovisual and certainly in person. You can't get a hug from a camera, but we know that it's that this is where we're going in the future. So we just get to think and get excited about what's already happened here. The beautiful flowers were put together by Barbara Berger, who's a new bride. Yes, we love Barbara. I don't know where she is, but she's off having a celebration of her life. Is she? She's here. And the prayer ministry, so important that this is really everything we hold that we don't know the how, you hold it in prayer. You get prayer partners. You talk to people and say, can you hold this in prayer for me? And we also have a wonderful prayer team. So you can call the number on the screen. You can email them. And Unity was founded on prayer. So there's also Silent Unity. And there's an app you can download. It's one of my favorite apps. It's You Pray. And I don't know if you have a picture of it, but it's You Pray, download it. It's a real quick, experience of praying. And I'd like you to hold, I'm just going to throw it out there, my mom, Maureen, because of the freeze in Texas, all of her pipes burst and lots of things happened where she didn't have any water. And she moved into a residence that she's been wanting to move into. It's independent living, but it came through this. I said, Mother, the whole state of Texas had to freeze for you to move into this place. But, but her name's Maureen, and just bless her and her experience of loving this place. All right, so thank you all for being here. Have a wonderful week. Allow this vision, be with it. Be with these areas of your life and write about them, and know that you are creating the new world. It's up to you. It's a beautiful thing. Yes. So Russ Chafin back here with us. Thank you, Natalie and Woody and Randy and Renee. Y'all stay afterward because they kind of rock after this service too. You can start our dance party a little bit early. All right, here we go. Ruskies. All right.
Okay, let's all stand and sing our peace song. And now our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. Thank you to our music team and to our AV team and all the volunteers. Have a wonderful week.
Oh, happy day. It's a good morning. It's a good day. Put on a smile and make it worthwhile. It's a good morning. It's a good day. The past is gone. The future's yet to come. It's time to live in the now. No matter what you've done, no matter where you've been, it's good morning. It's a good day. Oh, happy day. It's a good morning. It's a good day. Put on a smile and make it worthwhile. It's a good morning. It's a good day. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Do, 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 do. Ba, da, ba, ba, da, ba, 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 ba. Oh, happy day, oh, happy, ooh, hey, ooh, hey, yeah, ooh, hey, yeah, yeah. Oh, happy day. It's a good morning. It's a good day. Put on a smile and make it worthwhile. It's a good morning. It's a good day. Yeah, yeah.